Let me tell you about Melon, the 13-year-old Canadian teen whose mom is more controlling than an air traffic controller. Her family motto is, "Honor your parents." Basically, they're the bosses of her life. But hey, I get it, they gave her life, so she feels like she owes them her soul. It's a bit of a controversial philosophy, though. If you're too busy trying to please your parents, you might forget to please yourself. Melon, on the other hand, thinks she's got it all figured out. Since she hit the big 1 to 3, she's been her own person. She does what she wants, when she wants, and she doesn't care if she looks like a fool doing it. I mean, she's not afraid to bust out a somersault in the middle of the street with her crew Miriam, Priya, and Abby. Those girls are ride or die, man. But let's talk about what Melon really cares about, the boys. Not just any boys, we're talking about the pop band Four Town. Her friends are all about Devon, but Melon's got a different agenda. She's got her eye on the boys of Four Town, and she's not afraid to let the world know it. Who can blame her, though? Those boys are pop star perfect. So, the gang was planning a fun night out at the karaoke joint, and they invited Lynn to come along. But just as they were about to leave, the girl claimed she has to help her mom Mei Lee with some temple cleaning. Now, most people would have been disappointed, but not Lynn. She took her responsibility seriously, unlike some of the other flaky adults out there. Apparently, Lynn's family runs Toronto's largest Chinese temple, and it all started with Sun Yi, the guardian of red pandas, and Mei Lee's ancestor. I mean, who knew that red pandas had such a big influence on people's lives? After the cleaning, they went back to Lynn's house, where her mom explained that the red panda had blessed her family with great luck and prosperity since her ancestor's death. And get this, Lynn even had a red panda costume that she wore to welcome visitors. It's like she was practically a superhero or something. But things took a turn for the worse when Lynn's mom judged her taste in music. I mean, who doesn't love Four Town? They're practically a national treasure. And when Lynn tried to distract herself by drawing in her notebook, she got caught by her mom, who didn't appreciate her daughter's perverted drawings of a boy who looked suspiciously like Devon. To make matters worse, Lynn fell asleep and had a series of bizarre dreams that included the temple, Devon, and even the Four Town boys. When she woke up, she looked in the mirror and saw that she had turned into a giant red panda. I mean, how crazy is that? Lynn tried to escape, but her mom was on a mission to get her some basic items, and when the fire alarm went off, Lynn finally got her chance to run back to her room. But even though the red panda disappeared, her hair remained bright red. At least she could rock the new hair color, right? So she wore a cap to school to hide her shame. But things only got worse when she discovered that some jerk, named Taylor, had covered the school walls with her embarrassing drawings. Melon was ready to retaliate, but suddenly, she transformed into a red panda. She ran to her class trying to control her animal instincts, but it was no use. Her mother, who was waiting outside, turned into a total maniac and started attacking people. Luckily, Melon managed to escape through the window and ran away, destroying everything in her path. She passed by the convenience store and almost got spotted by her friend's dream boyfriend, Devon. But finally, she made it home. Well, looks like we've got a family secret on our hands. Melon's ancestors were some serious butt kickers who used to turn into mystical red pandas to save the day. That's definitely not something you hear every day. But here's the thing, what used to be a super cool family trait has turned into a full-blown curse. Melon's transforming into a panda every time she gets too emotional, which is basically all the time when you're a teenager. Can you imagine? Destroying everything in your path every time you get mad? That's a recipe for disaster. Thankfully, Melon's parents have a solution, a mystical ritual to seal the panda's spirit during the next red moon. Only problem is, the red moon isn't happening until next month. So for the time being, Melon's got to keep her emotions in check. And let me tell you, that's no easy feat when you're a teenager dealing with school, bullies, and the general frustration of being told what to do all the time. But Melon's parents have come up with a solution to prevent any further accidents. They've moved her mattress into an empty room. So if Melon does happen to transform again, at least she won't be able to destroy anything valuable. Let's hope Melon can keep her cool until the next red moon. Otherwise, things could get pretty hairy. So, after Melon's parents leave the room, she overhears her mother admitting that she's scared. This news is so depressing that Melon turns into a panda again the next morning. As her mom vacuums up the fur on the floor, Melon tries everything to get rid of her monstrous form, but nothing seems to work. Then, her friends show up at her window and tell her that their favorite band, For Town, is going to perform in Toronto. Melon can't resist and pulls her friends into her room, where they go wild over her new panda look. Priya and Abby think she looks super cute, but Miriam is more concerned about what happened to her friend. Melon tries to explain that it's just a temporary transformation, but she can't stop crying. Abby lets her know that the concert is on the 18th of the next month, but unfortunately, the red moon that triggers Melon's transformation isn't until the 25th. Melon is heartbroken that she won't be able to go. But then, Miriam starts singing one of their favorite songs, and the other girls join in. The panda can't resist the catchy tune and starts to cheer up. Her friends give her a big hug, and Melon reverts back to her human form. At that moment, Melon realizes that she's learned to control her emotions and can regain her life. Plus, her friends all agree to ask their parents to let them go to the For Town concert. Just as Ming approaches the room, Melon asks her friends to leave. Phew, that was a close one. So, Melon's parents are all like, "Prove to us that you can control your inner panda." And Melon's like, "Okay, I got this." So they show her a bunch of pictures that should be super emotional, but she stays chill like a cucumber. But then, Jin hands Melon a box of adorable kittens, and she's about to lose it. But wait, she remembers her besties and is all like, "Nah, I got this," and stays calm. Melon's parents are blown away and like, "How did you tame the beast so quickly?" And Melon's all like, "Oh, you know, just think about the people you love most in the world." Cue the ass. Ming is so proud of her daughter and gives her a big ol' hug. Melon takes advantage of the moment to ask to go to the concert, but Ming's all like, "No way, Jose. You'll be too emotional and lose control." Jin tries to convince Ming to give Melon a chance, but no dice. Ming is just too worried about those delinquents at the concert. So, Melon thanks her parents for at least hearing her out, packs her bags, and hits the road. But then, Ming gets a call from her mom who's all like, "Hey, I heard about Melon's panda problem on the news. I'm coming to Toronto to check it out." And then, before Ming can even say anything, her mom hangs up. Typical grandma move, am I right? So the next day during gym class, Melon finds out that none of her friends' parents have allowed them to go to the concert. Melon spots her mom outside the school, spying on her like a hawk, and to make matters worse, Tyler starts teasing her. But our girl is not one to take such behavior. Lying down, she uses her panda arm to throw a ball at Tyler's face. Unfortunately, the boy dodges it, but Melon is still kicked out of the game. Her friends take her to the bathroom to cool off, and there they hatch a plan to sneak to the concert by pretending to have a sleepover at home. The only problem is that they need to come up with $200 each for the tickets. That's where Abby comes in with a brilliant idea. She suggests that Melon use her panda persona to help them raise the money. And it actually works. The girls start charging other students to take pictures with the panda, and before long they're selling custom t-shirts and accessories. They're raking in the dough, but they still need $100 more to get the tickets. And wouldn't you know it, just as they're in a bind, Tyler shows up again. This time he's got an interesting proposition for Melon. He wants her to dress up as a panda for his birthday party. Apparently his classmates are willing to pay good money for it. Melon is hesitant at first, but when Tyler offers to pay her $200, she can't resist. Hey, a girl's gotta do what a girl's gotta do to see her favorite band, right? So, Melon's trying to sneak out to go to the party, right? Classic move. But of course, Mom's onto her and offers to tag along. Can't get anything past Mom, am I right? But then, to make matters worse, Melon's grandma and her squad of elderly sisters show up to perform some kind of panda sealing ritual. I don't even know what that means, but it sounds intense. Meanwhile, Tyler's party is popping off and all the guests are getting restless waiting for the main attraction, the panda, of course. Melon finally shows up, but her great-aunts won't leave her alone. So what does she do? Tries to sneak out the window, of course. But her sneaky plan gets foiled when her grandma finds a tuft of panda fur in the backyard. And then, to top it all off, Grandma drops some knowledge on Melon about the dangers of letting that panda out. Apparently, every time it happens, the panda gets stronger and the ritual becomes even harder to perform. Yikes. Looks like Melon's got some tough choices to make. Mei Lee shows up to her friend's birthday party dressed in a panda costume, but not just any panda costume, the one she wears at her family's temple. And let me tell you, everyone was disappointed. They were expecting to see a real panda, not Mei Lee in a costume. But Tyler, bless his heart, comes to the rescue and claims that if the panda didn't show up, he wouldn't pay the $200. But anyway, Mei Lee sees how sad her friends are and decides to ignore her grandmother's advice and transform into a red panda. She ends up driving all the teenagers crazy with her new look, and they all have a blast at the party. They even gather on the roof to eat cake and celebrate that they'll make it to the show they've been dreaming of. But of course, all good things must come to an end. The radio guy announces that the show won't be on the 18th, like Abby said, but on the 25th. And poor Mei Lee can't go because of her ritual. But her mother and aunts decide to stay at a hotel to let her have some fun. And that's when things get interesting. Mei Lee's mom finds all these photos and objects related to the red panda in her room and starts to freak out. She tries to wake her up to ask what's going on, but Mei Lee is nowhere to be found. She's too busy playing with the guests again and getting annoyed with Tyler's non-stop complaining. He keeps saying that the contract is over and that he won't pay what he agreed to. And to top it off, he calls Mei Lee just as weird as her mother. Can you believe that? Well, Mei Lee had had enough and attacked the boy. Thank goodness her dad showed up in time to break it up, but Tyler was crying like a baby. And let me tell you, all the other teenagers were scared out of their minds of the crazy panda girl. But that's not even the worst part. Mei Lee's mom starts to lecture the three girls about their daughter's misbehavior, claiming that they're bad company for her. And poor Mei Lee doesn't have the courage to defend her friends. Fast forward a week later, and the big day has finally arrived. Mei Lee's getting ready for her ritual, but her dad notices that she's not happy at all. And while he's in the basement, he finds a camera that Mei Lee used to record videos with her friends. He watches them, and let me tell you, they were hilarious. Mei Lee was overjoyed with the panda, and her dad couldn't stop laughing at the choreography. He even said that Ming's panda was the biggest of them all and completely out of control. So, the man spills the beans that he's only seen his wife's transformation once, during a showdown between her and her mom. Apparently, Ming's mom thought her daughter could do better than Jin and tried to put a stop to their wedding plans. But Ming wasn't having it and stood up to her mom like a boss. Meanwhile, Melon admits that she wants to keep her red panda alter ego, but doesn't want to be seen as a freak. Her dad gives her some deep advice about accepting all the different parts of herself, both the good and the not so good. We've all been there. Just as they're getting ready to start some kind of mystical ritual, Ming shows up and they get things going. The shaman draws a circle on the floor and tells Melon not to leave it until the red moon finishes its business. Apparently, that's when the astral plane is open for business, and Melon's ancestors start popping in for a visit. Sure enough, Melon gets transported to the astral plane, where she meets her great-great-great-great-grandmother or something. This spirit lady hands her a red sash, which magically turns into a mirror. But when Melon tries to cross the mirror, she realizes that the panda spirit is leaving her. But then she thinks about all the good times she had with her panda pal, and decides she's not ready to give him up just yet. Back in the real world, Melon's mom is trying to get the shaman to restart the ritual and kick that panda to the curb. But Melon's not having it. She shoves her family aside like a boss and declares that she's going to see the show. She sprints away like a gazelle, but her family's negativity ends up cracking Ming's amulet, which somehow releases a dark beast. Melon's like, "Oh no, not this again." But she's also like, "I gotta get to that show." So she transforms into her panda self and takes off like a rocket. She finds her friends and apologizes for not being there for them. They hug it out and everything seems to be cool, until Melon's mom shows up. Dun dun dun! The band starts playing and out of nowhere, a giant panda shows up and starts tearing the place apart. It's like the ultimate party crasher, am I right? Jin and the senior club come in to save the day and try to calm the creature down, but it's like the panda's got a personal vendetta against this girl. The monster snatches her up and takes off. But don't worry, the man in the story knows what to do. He rushes to draw a circle around the girl to protect her. Meanwhile, Ming is on a rampage, destroying town signs left and right. Melon's not having it, and transforms into her own panda to bite that thing's finger off. But then it's time for the ritual. The shaman climbs up into the stands while the ladies gather around the circle to sing the song. Melon, who's now tiny compared to the other pandas, manages to headbutt her mother so hard that she falls over unconscious with half her body out of the circle. Melon and her aunts try to pull her in, but it's no use. That's when they all decide to break their amulets and unleash their inner beasts. It's like an all-out brawl, but with pandas. Eventually, they all manage to pull Ming into the circle and the ritual begins. They're all sent to the astral plane where Melon meets a younger version of her mother who's crying with regret. Apparently, she was the one who caused that scar on her grandmother's forehead. It's like a family drama, but with pandas. But don't worry, they all work it out in the end. They cross the portal together, and Melon chooses to keep her panda spirit. And guess what? It's a hit! She helps her mother attract even more visitors to the temple with her panda transformations, and they're making bank. Now Melon's even allowed to go out to karaoke with her friends and her mom's even invited them over for dinner. It's like a happy ending, with a side of karaoke. Because in the end, Melon realizes that everyone's got their inner beast, and it's okay to let it out. Especially if it's a panda. Thanks for watching this video, I hope you enjoyed it. But before you go, don't forget to leave a comment down below and let us know what you thought. I want to hear all about it. And if you're feeling extra generous, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more hilariously entertaining content. I promise not to disappoint.